We're going to pop over to Facebook just to kind of see who has joined us. So if you are on Facebook, folks, welcome. We have a fabulous evening for you. A wonderful guest here tonight. So T Miss is on. So she is here. I will turn that volume down. Great. Okay. So we've got people on, so that's brilliant. So Facebook is starting to liven up. So if you are on Facebook, if you just give us some likes, if you give us some love, and pop in a comment and tell us where you are tuning in from. So I've actually been really excited about this event since I reached out to Karen last week. So I had came across Karen's story on BBC News. I'm not normally somebody that reads or watches the news, but somebody had brought this to my attention and I thought, oh, I must go and read this story. And then I popped the story into my Facebook page and lo and behold, there was a connection and Karen and I got to meet up. So that was great. So thank you so much, Karen, for doing that. So ladies, it's fantastic to see you all here. We are live and we've got something truly special in store with Karen. So we're about to dive into an inspiring conversation with this remarkable woman. And we're here to celebrate her journey, her strength, her resilience, and the lessons that she's learned along the way, particularly in regards to her own menopause experience. Great, seeing lots of people coming onto Facebook, so that's brilliant. Good. So without further ado, let's give a big warm welcome to Karen. So to all of you who are tuning in from wherever you are around the globe, please just pop into the comments, welcome Karen, and we will take it from there. So, Karen, before we dive into your proper story, just tell us a little bit about yourself, first of all, if you don't mind.
Okay, I'm Karen Farquharson. I'm 49. I live in Aberdeen. I recently got married in January, and I've also got 2 daughters. They're 21 and 19. And I work full-time for another employer now.
Great.
And I have 3 dogs and they keep me busy.
Yeah. So that was another connection that we have, because Karen has got Cavapoos and I have got Cavaliers. So we were just like that. Wow, this is great. So Karen's got 3 and I've got 2. And I know how dogs keep you busy because we're also looking after someone else's dog at the moment. So it's great to have you here, Karen. So thank you, yep. Thank you. So for those of you who may be tuning in for the first time and maybe haven't met me before, so I'm James, your trusty menopause ally, and I am on a mission to help you to create menopause breakthroughs. So creating your path to a happy, healthier, and also wealthier you. And I do that through many different facets. So I've got nutrition coaching, mindset coaching as a certified key coach, and a life coach, meditation teacher, personal trainer, what else? I could add a whole host of other things, but most importantly, I am a certified menopause wellness practitioner. And for those that do know me, will know that you know that I'm really passionate about that. So that's a little bit about me, a little bit about Karen. So let's dive into this inspiring conversation, which is all about empowering women. So Karen, to kick things off, can you take us through your journey of your experience with menopause before you decided to stand up against workplace discrimination that was related to your menopause experience? Can you tell us a wee bit more about that?
Well, I dipped into perimenopause about 7, 8 years ago. Itching all over and not being able to sleep at nights, erratic bleeding, just put up with that for quite a long time. And then August 2020, I started flooding. Not a pleasant experience. Actually landed in the hospital for investigations because they thought I had an ectopic pregnancy, but that was not the case. Doctors tried me on all different sorts of medication and nothing was working. But at that time, I did tell my work what I was going through. And the younger of the 2 directors was very understanding about it. Finally, in January 21, I got prescribed HRT. Gladly taken, and it just kept getting increased. Still not getting to the back of symptoms until getting various investigations. I had a scan in November, and they started to think that it could be adenomyosis. So, but I still had further investigations to go. And then that fateful day in December, came into work after 2 days working at home, A, because I had heavy menopausal bleeding, and B, because it would have snowed in. And the older director, who is the father of the younger director, had made a comment saying, "You made it in then," very sarcastically, not nice at all. And then one thing led to another, and he ended up saying to me, menopause, everyone gets the menopause, you just have to get on with it.
Wow.
He swore in that, but I'm not going to repeat those words on here live. And I just couldn't believe what he had said. I'd known him for 27 and a half years.
Wow.
And to be spoken to like that was just utterly shocking. I had to get out the situation because I found with these symptoms, I can't handle angry noise. I get emotional very quickly. I was in floods of tears. I was actually hysterical. And I had to get out the situation, which I did. I then got legal advice and put in a grievance because I wanted to sort the situation, and I was ignored. I was cut off from work completely.
Wow.
So I had no choice but to resign.
Okay. Wow. So quite a compelling story. So thank you very much for sharing that. Now, there was a few things that you said in there that I think is really, really important that we kind of, call out. And the first thing is that how, moving into perimenopause, when you first started that experience, that you just put up with it. That's something that I hear so often when, I'm either reaching out to women who may need support or they may need help. They're just like that, oh, I'll just put up with it. Do you think that that's right, that women should just put up with it, knowing what you know now?
No.
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 Definitely, you should be seeking help in regards to if HRT is the right thing for you, if it's lifestyle, such as your nutrition, if it's your weight, if it's, getting moving a little bit more, if it's just being more mindful, self-care, it's about, I think, for me, the best way for me to describe this is that, women are going through such a radical change when it comes to menopause. And I think they need to make radical changes with their lifestyle. It's that kind of way where, and it's easy for me to say because obviously I don't experience it, but I obviously work with so many women and understand what they're going through, is that you're going through this radical change in regards to your body and your hormones. It's almost like you need to make these radical changes with the outside as well, because you can't keep going in the same way. So sometimes, and there's a woman within the group who's done a lot with this for herself, is understanding what foods that you might not tolerate anymore, understanding what may be triggering your anxiety. That could even be coffee, it could just be noise. There's some like 54 different things that could be symptoms in regards to menopause, and you shouldn't just have to put up with that. It's about understanding that, although there's medical help there, you also need to radically change yourself. So what kind of changes in your lifestyle were you making to try and help with that?
Nothing, I'm afraid. I lost the will,
Right.
to be fair.
Yeah.
I'm so down about it, and the change that it's totally changed my life, and not for the better.
Mm-hmm.
And I really need to get out of the rut.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just kind of existing at the moment. So yeah, I've got a wee bit of more fire in my belly now that I'm helping other people, but I need to help myself.
100%. 100%. And I think what you're saying there, Karen, is really, really important, because everybody's menopause journey is different and it is so unique. Not one woman will have the same experience, because hormones are so complicated and complex that, that something that one person eats compared to what the other woman eats may have a completely different reaction in regards to your hormones. Now, I want all the women who are listening in just now to just pop into the comments for me if you feel at the moment that you are just existing. So just pop in just existing into the comments for me if that is how you feel as well. So T Missy's already put that there. She's saying, bless you, Karen. A lot of us feel like that. And Karen and I were talking about this just before we came on, and I think this is really, really important. And you know, many of the women here will know that my view of the community that we've created through Menopause Breakthroughs is to try and help women to feel less isolated, that support and that help is there for them, you know, through the group, by asking questions in the group, by following some of the daily tips and hints that Tracy and I are put together every month. You know, that's really what our kind of mission is. And then if someone needs that kind of one-to-one support, then absolutely we're there for that as well. So yes, so thank you, folks. There's a lot of existing coming in there. Okay. Another thing that you said there is about the reaction, obviously, from the older director, and when he said, you know, you made it in then, and then obviously some of the other stuff that he was kind of saying to you. You had worked here for so long. What was your trust like with them in that moment?
At that moment, it was completely shattered.
Yeah, yeah.
But before then, they were like family. I gave
Right.
110% to that place.
Wow, wow.
And
What do you think made him react in that way?
mainly because of the time off he said that I had. He said that I swanned in and out and pleased myself, but I worked from home when I had bad symptoms.
Okay.
I'd also had emergency breast surgery earlier on that year.
Right.
And I worked the next day from home.
Wow. After surgery?
Mm?
After surgery? Okay. Now,
I almost had this guilt
right,
that I wasn't doing enough
right.
because of all the symptoms that was going on.
Okay.
That I had felt that I had to do more.
Do more. Wow. So again, ladies that are watching, I would love you to pop into the comments, because, you know, we said this was going to be an inspiring conversation, and there in itself is a bit of inspiration, where Karen one day was in surgery, and just because of how menopause, or her perimenopause experience was making her feel, she started working again the next day. So that in itself is inspiring in regards to your journey, Karen. So thank you so much for that. So tell us about some of the specific challenges that you were facing in the workplace due to your menopausal symptoms, and then how did that affect your day-to-day life, but then obviously your career? Obviously, we know that you decided to resign and move on, but how was it affecting your career, but most importantly, your day-to-day life?
The guilt that I wasn't given enough because of the brain fog and the anxiety. I just had to keep doing notes and notes with my notes.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes had to take time out, go to the toilet, have a 5 minutes to myself. But I also found myself getting very frustrated at times because I wasn't being listened to. So I would just have to take myself out of the situation. I wasn't good at sticking up for myself either.
Okay.
And I think the menopause made it worse because I just felt I wasn't myself.
Mm-hmm.
Just a number of things, but I didn't want to be a pain in the backside either.
Yeah.
So you just glory on,
yeah.
and you try to give all that you've got, and reserves, and work weekends, and work evenings, complete exhaustion, but you just get on with it because you don't want to lose your job.
Mm-hmm. And I hear that so many times from women, that they're worried about their careers, you know, women that are, you know, they're either got their own business, or they're leaders in a company, or, you know, doesn't matter where they are, whatever job they have, they're just terrified because they can go in one day and think, what am I doing? I can't actually remember what my job is. What am I doing? You know, and we were talking about this before we came on. Some of the lighter things that we were talking about brain fog in regards to losing keys, putting them in the fridge, mobile phones, all those kind of things, which I'm sure many of the women will relate to here. And if you do relate to the whole losing keys, mobile phones, just pop mobile phone into the comments for me, so we can kind of see what that kind of impact of brain fog is. But when we think about brain fog, it can actually be really debilitating for women, particularly in regards to their career and their daily life. So tell us a wee bit more about your experience with brain fog and what was actually happening for you.
Sometimes I thought I was cracking up.
Right.
Sometimes I thought, why can't I remember this? I can remember model numbers. I could remember people's emails, phone numbers. But what I said 5 minutes ago and what I was going to do in the next 5 minutes, totally gone.
Totally gone.
No idea. You go into a room and say, why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
You go back out again and you sit for ages just thinking, and you still think the next day you're like, I still can't remember, or just some things. And I thought I was going loopy.
Right. And that in itself makes you lose a bit of your identity, doesn't it? Because you're like that, who am I?
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things when I'm working with women, I want them to help get that identity back and find, you know, that person's not gone. You know, that person is still there. There's this hormonal chaos that's kind of going on inside that's kind of taking over, and it's helping them to come to understand, right, this is what's happening to your body. Let's try different foods. Let's try different types of movement. Let's try mindset. No, and it doesn't always kind of create it's not always the golden egg. Similar to HRT isn't always the golden egg, but it just helps them to kind of come to a bit of a better place and a little bit more of acceptance. So again, your resilience, Karen, truly inspiring. So again, thank you for that. So tell us about the time where you thought, you know, this is the turning point, or the moment that you decided to take legal action against your employer. What would you say to other women who might be on the fence, experiencing something similar, and and might think about taking similar steps? What would you advise them, and what was the turning point for you?
Well, what I did was I talked to Edward Obi. He was my HR legal guy that actually represented me at the tribunal. Rather than go to a solicitor, I went and spoke to him first.
Mm-hmm.
He's an HR expert, so he knows all the laws and that. He specialises in that and is just not a solicitor that deals with lots of different matters. And he asked for my story, and he said, this is something that you need to do. They need to be held accountable.
And how did that make you feel that you had a man standing up for you?
I didn't think of it that way, to be fair. It was just because he knew his stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise the tribunal process.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that needs to be explained more when women are going down that route and taking their employers for discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was also speaking to a Dr. Sally Hanna on LinkedIn the other day, and she's trying to get coaching in place for women that take employers to tribunals for menopause discrimination, to get some sort of counselling during the process.
Mm-hmm.
Because employment lawyers are not handling cases as well as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this HR guy that I used, Edward, he would speak to me out of hours. He would text me, phone me, and all words of encouragement to try and boost me along.
Good. And because I'm sure that, you know, the legal battle itself was tough enough, and probably even more exhausting for you in a time where you're already feeling exhausted. The whole going through having to resign from your job probably left you feeling exhausted. So what would be one word of advice that you would give to women who may be thinking of doing the same thing?
Stick up for yourself.
Stick up for yourself. Amazing advice, right? I love it. Okay, so lots more people kind of tuning in on Facebook, and lots of love coming for you, Karen. So I love that. Lots of people saying shocking behaviour, someone saying that he's a swine. Well done, Karen, you are an inspiration. So love that. T-Miss is saying that, yeah, she loses her glasses even although they're on top of her head. I've seen that one many times as well. Now, something that really interests me, Karen, you know, so where I work at the moment, I work with, you know, a few women who are menopausal, and they kind of just shrug it off, you know, and I'm a believer in that a woman should be able to express herself if she's having a hot flush or she's got a brain fog moment, but it's almost that kind of comic value to it. Oh, I'm having a hot flush, or oh my god, it's so hot in here. And I think for me, it's like you shouldn't have to do it in that kind of way. You should be able to do it in an open and honest and you know, caring environment. How did you experience that you felt that you would cover it up through comedy or make a
I
joke?
still do.
You
I
still
still
do.
do. Cover it up with comedy.
Yeah. And do you think that's right?
It kind of takes the heat off it, so to speak.
Okay.
But yeah, I just don't like the sympathy either. So
yeah, of course.
as I keep saying, I just try and plod along. But yeah, the comedic effect, sometimes it's not appropriate, but yeah, I know where you're coming from.
Yeah, so for me, I'm going to be a bit controversial here, ladies. So I don't mean this to be wrong in any shape or form. It's almost like for me, you were saying there about sympathy, Karen, which is absolutely right, because sympathy is just like pity, right? And we want menopause to be treated seriously. So you should be able to do a place where you get empathy and understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, that the comedy and, you know, and I totally understand why women do it, is to kind of take away, as you say, the heat and the edge from it. But you should be able to do it with confidence in an environment where you feel safe, you know, particularly in a work environment, to kind of say, right, I'm having a hot flush. Can I go to the toilet, or can I get some time? I think that that's probably the approach that should be taken, but I totally get that for women that might not be the way that you kind of want to deal with it. So just a little bit of controversy for me is do it in a way where, you know, that you should have care and understanding. But again, all of that comes down to the kind of environment that you work in. Okay, brilliant. Okay, so really powerful insights, Karen. So talk to me through your journey. So you've obviously said that the HR guy that you were working with, he was probably a big supporter for you. But thinking about professionally and personally, who were your biggest supporters? Like your family, your daughters, your husband? Were they supportive of you? Who else was on your side?
Yeah, my husband, obviously, Graham. He's just sitting in the corner listening.
Hello. Hi, Graham.
He found
I hope he's taking notes.
Are you taking notes? I'm just listening. He did find it difficult at times, because there was times I felt like giving up, but he was the one that had to G me up and bolster me up and get me going again. He came to court every day. He sat in the waiting room, and he had the right words to say. My daughters were a great support as well. Well, one isn't. She's actually in Australia, living it up there just now. Lucky sod that she is.
Living her best life.
Yeah. My mum and dad, I was friends, but apart from my husband, and Edward, nobody really knew what was going on.
Right.
I didn't discuss it much out and about. I just wanted it over and done with.
Yeah. Okay. And how did it feel having your husband being really supportive? Because it's also a very common thing that I come across, is where women don't talk to their husbands about menopause. And that's often where some of the problems can come from, is that men are totally taken aback by the change that their wives are going through. You know, so how did you find that support from Graham, understanding obviously about menopause, but also kind of going through the legal case with you?
Well, Graham, it's been a learning process for him as well, because
Okay.
he will be honest, he'd
Yeah.
be the first clue about it. Did
Yeah.
you?
Hello. Yes.
Hi, Graham.
Hello there.
So
So-
tell us about, your experience in regards to supporting Karen in regards to menopause. What was your understanding of it and noticing the changes that she was going through? How did it make you feel?
Well, I'll go back a bit more. The mood swings, I didn't understand it to start with. It wasn't until she mentioned menopause and this is what I go through, then I went and had a read up on it to see what it was all about. And I was surprised myself how many people have it, and how much different symptoms there is, and how I had to, I'm going to say tiptoe around her at times, because that's what you had to do, because I didn't know how to make it better, and I certainly didn't want to make it worse. So it was kind of hard. I think I just sat in the corner sometimes and not said a word, which I think you'd probably be pleased at, that I didn't say anything. So yeah, that's the basics of it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Now, Graham, one final question for you.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to other men, that are kind of, because most of us men, we either have mum, well, all of us have a mum, except typically have a mum. We've got mums, we've got daughters, sisters, we've got friends who are female, we've got work colleagues who are female. What would be one thing that you would say to men to kind of improve their understanding of menopause? What advice would you give?
Well, it depends on the female, I think, because some of them don't come across to tell you it, and you've got to think, this what you're going through, and it's what you guys are doing now to making more people aware that there's different symptoms, you go through different things, and how it just I probably should just listen, they need to listen now and again, yes, and I think sometimes men don't do that enough. I'm guilty of it as well,
You're absolutely right. Listen, but I think there's also an important thing that you kind of said when you were first talking to us, Graham, is about you went away and you educated yourself.
Yes, you do need to go online and have a read up on it.
Super important for men is just to go, your wife, your daughter, your sister, whatever, they can tell you all that they can about how they're feeling, but it's really important for men to kind of go away and educate themselves on that. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Welcome. Thank you.
And thanks for letting us steal your wife for tonight.
No, you're welcome. Yes, you're welcome.
He's like that, keeper. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay, so that was really heartwarming. I loved that. Brilliant. It's great when you've got someone on your side, particularly a husband, that is really supportive. So that's brilliant. Okay, so your story, Karen, that you've told us tonight really emphasizes the importance of menopause awareness, not just in your day-to-day life, but particularly in the workplace. What would you say your vision of the workplace is in becoming more supportive and understanding of women who are going through that phase of life?
I think every employer should have some sort of policy in place, whether it comes from a template online or their own one. I think a bit more awareness. I've suggested a monthly chat on it around the table with the lads. I've suggested educating them a wee bit more. Some of these courses that they do run, I think they just do it to tick the boxes without actually understanding what's going on.
Correct. And I think you're also right about policies. I think that's really important. But I think also a lot of companies are just putting a policy, so they've got a policy.
Yeah.
But are they actually sticking to the policy? So I think that's a really important step as well. So tell me more about this, get the lads round the table, because that sounds fabulous. It sounds right up my street.
I've mentioned it. I think they think I'm joking, but I do think some sort of motivational chat, get all our not so much feelings out on the table, just how we're going on. But my poor boss, he hears it because of all this media hype around myself. That's all he's hearing just now.
So he'll be like that, right? I'll be making sure that I do everything right for Karen.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like
right. That is exactly what he said. He says, I'm scared to speak to you now.
He brings you coffee every morning.
Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. So I love your story. It's really, really inspiring. And as we were kind of saying just before we came on, it is a landmark, and you didn't really know that, because obviously,
Yep.
Tell people, when did the case finalize again? It was July, you said?
Yeah. So I knew I'd won back in July, and the publication went live, I think it was 2 weeks ago. And then I was getting DMs through Facebook and LinkedIn from reporters.
Brilliant.
And I then had to make the decision, do I go for it or do I not? Because they were going to publish it anyway, with or without my
permission,
blessing. So they said they would just not name me, but folk would have known it was me. And then they said, we'll just take a photo from your Facebook. And I'm like, no, I want to be in control. So I did one interview and it just went nuts.
And, you know, obviously it's been a bit nuts for you, but that's in itself is, you know, how many people are you now reaching? You know, we kind of said that at the beginning, is, you know, sometimes you can feel so lonely, but hopefully this conversation and all of the other conversations that you have resonates with other women, and they realize that, you know, that change is happening, you know, there is a shift. You know, and I think there's a lot of that going on just now. It's like everybody's talking about menopause, which is great. Now, I've been in this space, what, coming up maybe 4 or 5 years now, so it's not as if it's something new to me. It is kind of something that I kind of fell into. It was mainly women that I was working with, and I was like, well, I'm going to say it, why are all these women nuts? You know, so I kind of started to do a bit more research, and then obviously did my training and started to really help and able to support them in regards to how they were feeling. So thank you so much. Okay, so finalize, what friendly advice can you offer to women who may be hesitant to share their menopausal experience at work or in their own communities? What advice would you give them?
I am sharing, for a start, even if it's an online chat. Join a menopause group online, one like yourselves. Maybe a close friend. Also share it with your employer. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be afraid. Just get it out there. Yeah,
I love that. I love that. And I just wanted to kind of touch on what you were saying there about obviously joining a menopause group. So there's over 1,200 women in this group, which is amazing.
Really?
So
brilliant.
Yeah, so I'd love to encourage every single one of them. It's getting better, more women are opening up into the conversation that we have within the group. Just post your question. There's so many women here that can share their experience, and we've seen it time and time again. I also come in with the knowledge that I know that can help and understand, but I think the real life experience of other women can really help and inspire someone who may be feeling a wee bit stuck. So please open up the conversation within the group and let's keep that going. But loads of great comments coming in, particularly for Graham, I have to say. They're saying that's fab that he's done a bit of research. Amazing, brilliant. More men researching would be so helpful. You know, and then stuff just coming in. So good on you, Graham. So yeah, lots of comments coming in for Graham. And then just some really great comments coming in for you, Karen. Trailblazer, opened so many doors for other women. Amazing. Love it. So Karen, your story is so inspirational, and the insights that you've been given here tonight has been invaluable. So everybody, let's continue supporting each other. I will support all of you on this incredible journey. I know at times it doesn't feel like an incredible journey, but I'm going to call out one of my favorite clients, Liz. So Liz is she 69 now? 69. She might kill me if I say that. I think she's 68. She's 68 now, and she is living her best life. You know, we've worked together for a couple of years now. She still has the odd perimenopausal symptom, but not perimenopausal at 68, postmenopausal symptom at 68. but she's living her best life. She's working out, she's got her holiday home, and one of the ambitions that we had for Liz was to retire, and she was able to retire at the end of last month. And she keeps cancelling on me because she got so many retirement dates. Shocking, right? So yeah, let's keep that conversation going, no matter where you are, what stage that you're in. So yeah, the incredible journey, there is a whole stage at the other side that once you do get through it, life does get that little bit better and you start to find who you were again. So that concludes for tonight. If anybody's got any questions that they would love to ask Karen just before they go, pop them into the chat for me so that we can have a look and see if there's anything that anybody wants to ask. Any burning questions, that would be awesome. But Karen, I love it. Thank you so much. How's this made you feel when you get to share your experience like this?
I still pinch myself because I
Right.
still don't think it's remarkable, but it must be.
Definitely, it is remarkable. Certainly, you know, I think just the attention that you know your story has got kind of shows that, because it is pretty amazing.
Because I don't know what to do now from here.
Right.
I still think more needs to be done.
Definitely. I think this is just the start of, you know, even although there's so many celebrities and so much information that is becoming more and more out there, I think there is so much more that needs to be done in regards to menopause, and lots of different ways. You know, it's like, you know, HRT isn't always a golden egg that some people make it out to be, but it absolutely is for some. You know, that's right for them, but some women can't take it. So what is the alternative? So we need to open up that conversation more about that, and the conversation more up about how women actually feel during menopause. So question that came in from someone is, did you get an apology from your ex-employer?
No.
No, we wouldn't think so if that's the kind of behaviour that you had. So absolutely not. Okay, Karen, I want to say a massive thank you. We will keep this conversation going. You're now in the group with us all, so feel free to get involved in conversation, be part of the team, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me on.
You're very welcome. I've loved every second of it. Good night, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. It's been amazing. In a couple of weeks' time, I'm also interviewing someone else, and they're going to tell me about their menopause journey as well. So more details will be coming out about that very soon. But thanks, everyone. Take care and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Henrik. Bye.